After the trade deadline, there was a challenge laid out by someone in the Diamondbacks organization. Who laid it out and who has accepted it?
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. Mike Valentine here, host of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, your team every day. Baseball is my religion. The Diamondbacks are my denomination, and you are my congregation. So settle down in the pew and enjoy the message. Here we go. I do have another podcast that I do live every Tuesday. It is called The Sports Truth, SPORTZ Truth. It's because I'm part of www. We Like Sports, again with a Z, PC.com. You can get on there and read fantastic articles by a whole bunch of different people. I do the editing, and then I also recruit some other writers. So if any of you would be wanting to put Diamondbacks articles on that site, just simply let me know, and we'll get it all squared away. So I thank you very much. By listening here, I want you to understand that you are a certified member of the Locked On Diamondbacks Network, which is completely free on all podcast platforms. You can also be part of the show by joining us on YouTube and simply searching Locked On Diamondbacks and leave your comments and your criticisms. I have a passion for this game. I have a real passion for this team. And if you're listening, I'm sure that you have that same passion as well. So whether you're a first time or a long time, I thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen every day. All right, so what are we going to do in today's show? Let's just map it out for you. On today's show, we're going to look at the challenge that was laid out that I mentioned in the open, who it was meant for, who challenged who, and ultimately who has accepted that challenge. We'll recap the weekend in Sacramento versus the A's. And finally, in the third segment, we'll do something here that I've never done so far since I took over this particular podcast. We'll look at the game tonight and some of the different gambling aspects based on the numbers of that game. But first, this episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5, again, that's the number 5, hourenergy.com today. Use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF and receive 20% off your order. It's only valid through September 30th, and you should get online and order 5 Hour Energy shots today, transfusion flavored. Okay. Let's get into segment number 1. It was a pretty simple quote, actually, but I thought it was pretty telling all at the same time. So the quote was, "It's your time now. Don't wait until spring training." I thought it was pretty interesting. The person who actually said that quote was Mike Hazen, the general manager of our Arizona Diamondbacks. And he addressed it to the team as a whole, but he was emphasizing those young players that were on the team. Now, we found this out if you watch the Diamondbacks broadcast. It was in a conversation that Todd Walsh had with Diamondback. Of course, you know, Todd Walsh is the Diamondbacks broadcaster. He's part of that crew and everything else there. With Mr. Alek Thomas, center fielder for our Arizona Diamondbacks. And he said that certain players were, quote, begging for a chance. He didn't mention any names, but obviously he was talking about him, because let me give you his numbers over the past few days. So he's now slashing 340, 380, 582, and he has a 962 OPS. It's pretty darn good. Those are in his last 15 games. Now let's take it a step further and let's look at his last week. That is basically since the trade deadline. That last week covers 20 at-bats, and he is batting .400 with 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 home runs, and 3 RBIs. So Alek Thomas heard the challenge, has accepted the challenge, and has been beating the cover off the ball here for the last few days. I really, really like him, and I really like the fact that he is stepping up to do this. Alec Thomas, great job. We'll talk more about some other teammates here in segment number 2, but there's another young player that I am really rooting for on this team. And man, I want him to do well. There's just, I mean, I can't describe it to you, but there's just something about this kid that when I watch him play, I feel like the potential is there. And I feel like if he gets enough plate appearances and he's given the shot, that he can unlock that potential and really be a foundational piece for mine and your Arizona Diamondbacks. I can't wait to talk about him later on tomorrow. We will talk about who that guy is, why I think he has that potential, and him as a whole on this team. What place does he have, and how exactly do I think he'll be able to do it? Now, again, going back to Alec Thomas here for a second, he was everything you could have wanted over the weekend in Sacramento, especially. Every time they needed a big hit, every time they needed a great defensive play in center field, he didn't miss anything. He caught everything. And to be really honest with you, he's even taken some walks. He had a big walk in the game on Saturday. So Alec Thomas, I think, is really improving as a player. I think and I hope that he heard this challenge. He was the one that told Todd Walsh about it. And Todd did some great reporting on that and was able to pass that along to you and I. And then I wanted to talk about it on today's show because this is going to be where we are right now. Can these young players step up? And the first one who has taken the bat out of the rack and gone out and stepped up to the plate is Alec Thomas. Let's see if he continues to do this or if this is just kind of a one-week thing. We'll find out very, very shortly. But I tell you what, so this club, our club, had a big challenge laid down in front of him by Mike Hazen. I think it'll be interesting to see who takes it to heart or who will stomp on all of our hearts. Only time will tell as we go in to segment number 2. All right, guys, segment number 2 is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor to your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, of course, and it gives it to you in a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one is a hole-in-one for your energy game. Now, let's be honest. Some days on the course, or even off of it, you just need that extra boost to keep you sharp and energized. Me on the golf course, I talk about this sometimes. The wildest shot that I ever did, I basically Happy Gilmore it, right? I was so frustrated on that course. Man, I just grabbed a hold of that club and I've heard it from other people, just grip it and rip it, right? I even think I stepped back a couple of steps like the Gilmore deal and just bashed that thing, hit that thing as hard as I could hit it. Swung completely through it. I may have even hit the ground behind me with the club, right? Gave it everything I had. And that was because I had one of these 5 Hour Transfusion energy shots right before I did that. Whew, what a boost. And that ball sailed through the air, took about 8 bounces, probably killed about 20 worms on the way, and got within like 20 feet of the pin. So fantastic shot. Had no idea where it was going. I was just smacking it hard, and 5 Hour Energy allowed me to do that. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, like the grape, ginger, and lime flavors. And the best part about it is it's your clubhouse to go without chasing down a beverage cart. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can get my promo code, which is Locked On Golf, to receive 20% off of your order. Now, this order is only valid until September 30th, on one order, and it can't be used with other offers or publications or promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders either. But whether you're meeting up with friends or you're trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost that you need to power through your game and your day. Order transfusion flavored 5-hour energy shots today. All right, guys, going into segment number 2. YouTube is a great tool for you to get everything you need about your Arizona Diamondbacks. But in order to do that, please do me a few favors here. Subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Hit the bell for notifications so that you never miss a video and you stay completely informed about our team, the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm also on X. I'll post a lot of reposts and things that other people put out there that will just add to the information that I can give to you. And then we'll do some poll questions and we'll do a lot more. And you can find me on X at LO_Diamondbacks. I'd appreciate you going over and taking a look at that today. All right, so we're going to start out with the good. Now, I'm gonna do this a little different as we recap the weekend. We're going to do happy, happier, and horrible. All right, tell me if you like what we're going to do here, because I could have done like good, bad, and ugly or something like that. But, you know, those things are always taken. So I wanted to do it a little bit different. And I wanted to put maybe a little more positive spin on our team as well. So we'll start off with happy. We'll look at happier. And then you can't have one of these things without doing a horrible. So we'll have to make somebody wear that moniker over the weekend as well. So we're going to start with the happy, which in a quote from Zack Gload, let me give it to you here. When he was asked about why he is still an Arizona Diamondback, he said that he had bad luck mixed with less than stellar play. Yeah, I think every one of us would agree with that, right? So how Zack described it was pretty spot on, right? But then later on in that same interview, he also said that he was happy to still be here because it's somewhere where he feels comfortable. And I'm not sure how I feel about that quote. I mean, I'm not real sure I want Zack to be comfortable here. And is he comfortable losing? I think what he meant was that he's comfortable in his surrounding and he's comfortable with the coaches and things like that. So hopefully he'll have roughly about 10 more starts, counting the one that he had on Saturday. And that one was pretty good. So hopefully he'll be able to manifest himself, get himself back on track. And then we're going to talk a lot about Zack Gload on Thursday, the day before his next scheduled start on Friday. So be here for that on Thursday. We'll dive into Zack Gload quite a bit on that day. I have to admit, though, that I was worried about Saturday's game because I knew when I was doing my research that Zack Gload has given up 23 home runs, which is second in Major League Baseball. And mixed with the fact that the A's have scored more runs in the first inning. Yes, they've scored more runs in the first inning, 80 to be exact, than any other team in baseball. And tomorrow, we're actually going to look at how the Diamondbacks can model that and turn that into victories for the Diamondbacks. So Zack Gload then went out. He allowed 9 hits in 6 innings plus actually, giving up only 2 runs in a 7-2 Diamondback victory. He started out a little shaky, but he seemed to get a better feel for the fastball and his location kind of as the game went on. He was then able to land the curveball for a strike as well, or he could either start it and land it for a strike, or sometimes he even got it to the point to where he could start it as a strike, and by the time it landed, it wasn't a strike anymore, and he got people to kind of swing over the top of it. Also, I got to give him really a big-time credit here for the 6th inning. And the 6th inning, to me, was really impressive. He only threw 6 pitches in the bottom of that 6th inning, got the outs that he needed. And I also have to say this. Zack, happy birthday, buddy. I'm sure you're listening to the show. And, you know, Sunday was your 30th birthday. So we, here at the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, and all of our great listeners, want to celebrate you and your birthday a day late, but on today for your birthday on Sunday. What's the happier thing and even better part to our Diamondbacks weekend? In the fourth inning of the second game, that was on the Saturday game, with Lordis Goreiel batting in the cleanup spot. And trust me, later on this week, we'll talk about an optimal lineup for our Arizona Diamondbacks. But I can't do everything in one show. So we'll get to it later on in the week, guys. So Alexander, well, I'll tell you about it. Thomas walked. All right. We've already talked about Thomas and how well he has done here lately. Thomas walked. Alexander had a great inside out swing on a pitch that took Alex to third base. Carroll then walked. So you got the bases loaded. Marte comes up and gets a fielder's choice. It did score a run, but he had the potential to do so much more in that spot and didn't. But the guy behind him picked him up. Lordis Goreiel Jr. had a single that scored them 2 runs. They got the 4-2 lead. And honestly, for the entire rest of the weekend, they didn't look back. I really thought that sequence in that particular inning really defined the Diamondbacks and how they performed for the rest of the time that they were in Sacramento, which was pretty good. You know, they got 2 out of 3. They were able to score some runs. So hopefully we're back on track here. We'll have to see with this series against the San Diego Padres here starting tonight. But we do have to talk about the horrible. And the horrible is ADC. No, not the Jackson 5 song. It's not ABC. It's ADC. Alberto Del Castillo. He just looks overmatched. Honestly, I'm not even sure why he's here. I really have to wonder this because I loved this story, and I believe the Diamondbacks made 2 real big mistakes during this season, and this is one of them. I haven't got a chance to talk about these yet because I've only been doing this show for about a week and a half now, but let me give you the first one. When we let Trey Mancini go, I had him in AAA and they let him go, I really thought that was a big mistake. He is a veteran presence here for us. I think he could have stopped a lot of things that were happening over this past week or so when we talked about how the trade deadline was getting to everybody and everything. I think Trey Mancini could have been a calming force and a really positive emphasis on not letting that kind of stuff get to him and get to his team. I did not like the fact that they let him go. And I would have much rather see Trey Mancini up here right now than Alberto Del Castillo. And I also think that probably the most missed Diamondback right now is Gabriel Moreno. I mean, yes, even more so than Corbin Burns. And here's why. You've got ADC last 7 games, Alberto Del Castillo, 24 at-bats, 0 runs, only 3 hits, 0 home runs, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts while it's batting $125. Not what you want to see out of your backup catcher and not what you want to see out of anybody in this organization right the moment, even if they are a young player. And I certainly understand that Alberto Del Castillo is a young player. I'm giving him a little bit of a pass because of it, but honestly, I think there's other people who deserve to be here more from the minor league system, and hopefully here in just a little bit, the Diamondbacks will see that as well, and they will call up a couple more of these really good prospects that we've got down in the minor leagues to help us out. So I also think here, the big takeaway from segment number 2 for all of you is momentum is a real thing in sports. And watching this team over the weekend, whether it was Zach or whether it was Erod pitching through his struggles, and he had some struggles, but he did pitch through it. So he pitched himself out of trouble and everything else. The offense is now seemingly coming to life, and they did that without Marte on Sunday. They've got improved defense on the field, and they all kind of seem to be in a better place. It was reported even that they were bouncing to some music and stuff like that in the dugout over the weekend in Sacramento. So hopefully all of that continues. But as we know, only time will tell. Let's jump in to segment number 3 right here on the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. And in our third and final installment, we'll do something for the first time since I've taken over this show. We will look at the gambling aspect of tonight's game and then the series between the Diamondbacks and the Padres. All right, let's get this stuff up here because you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for FanDuel. That's right, FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whatever you're all about, whether it's baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every regular season game more exciting. I mean, you're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned on the beach. Who wants to do that? I'd much rather get into the games. FanDuel is easy to use, it's a fast payout, and it makes every regular season game feel like a much watch event. Excuse me. Are you new to FanDuel? New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. So open the FanDuel app today or visit fanduel.com and get started. Once again, the FanDuel app or visit fanduel.com to get started. All right, segment number 3. And you know what? When we're done here, because we're almost are, guys. I know I'm sad about it too, but we're almost done here with our episode today of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. And when we do get done, would you like to take a broader look at baseball? Sometimes we all need to be able to do that. Look at the game as a whole. So you can check out Locked On MLB Game Night. They watch every game so that you and I don't have to. And you don't just have to watch us here on YouTube. You can have us in the car, on the lawnmower while you're outside, maybe while you're barbecuing out there, something like that, because we have a bunch of different audio platforms that you can get Locked On Diamondbacks as well. Apple, Spotify, and my favorite, XM Satellite Radio. All of those are available to you right now. Okay, guys, let's look at this series between the Padres and the Diamondbacks, both as a whole, and then specifically tonight's game when we look at the gambling lines and stuff like that. So the Padres coming in are 62-50. The Diamondbacks are 53-59. And of course, it is here in Phoenix tonight, game 1. It's going to be JP Sears. He's new to the Padres. They just picked him up in the trade deadline. He'll be taking the mound for San Diego, and he'll be going up against Arizona's Brandon Pfaadt. If you guys didn't know, San Diego is one of the hottest teams in the league. They have 7 wins in their last 8 games, and 9 of their last opponents have been held to 3 runs or less. So they're a really hot team right at the moment. Arizona, on the other hand, not as hot. They have won 2 straight after losing the past 6 and are 5-9 over their last 14. San Diego is 4-3 against Arizona this season, with a win in the series and then a split in a series 2-2 when they played their 4-game set. Let's look at the pitchers a little bit more, and then we'll talk about a couple of the lines that you can get into tonight for this game. And you can do so, of course. We talked about FanDuel earlier. Jump on that and help out the channel and help out yourself. Win yourself a little extra money. Padres' JP Sears is 7-9 with a 4.95 ERA. His last outing, 4.15 ERA, two runs allowed, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. That was JP Sears, who'll be pitching tonight for the San Diego Padres. Now, the Diamondbacks are going to counter with Brandon Pfaadt. He overall was 10-7, a 5.11 earned run average. His last outing was not good at all. 13.50 ERA. He allowed 7 earned runs, 11 hits. He didn't walk anybody, but he barely struck out anybody too. He only got 3 strikeouts in that outing that he did last. Here's the money line, the spread, and the total. Money line, Padres minus 142, and the Diamondbacks are plus 120. The spread, the Padres are minus 1.5, and the total, either over or under on the runs for tonight's game, is 9.0. So there's 3 different things that, if you wanted to, you can make sure that you take for the bets tonight. This will wrap up our show for the day. Thanks as always for making us your first listen of your day. Tell a friend, share this episode of Locked On Diamondbacks on your social media accounts. And again, speaking of social media, be sure to follow me at the address right down here below us at LO_Diamondbacks. Tomorrow, we're going to look at tonight's game. We're going to talk about how the Diamondbacks can do the one thing that the A's do better than any team and turn that into victories for them. And then we'll also talk about the player that I mentioned earlier that I would like to see get a really good shot here in Arizona. And hopefully, crossing my fingers for him, hopefully he'll be able to show us that he has got something. And I think he can if we just give him a shot. Now, for your next listen, make sure you go over to Locked On MLB as Sully gives you a great look at the day and some bigger, broader MLB storylines in our league. Once again, thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate you joining us. Come back again tomorrow. And as always, tune in so you can stay locked on.